Looking
Yeah.
at this dude right here, so that's him pictured on the right. I think he's turned 60 recently.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been
Hang on.
sort of
Before we go
retired.
any
Yeah.
further, I'm gonna have. Well, you can just keep talking. I'm gonna find the image that
All right,
you
let's find the
edited
images
before.
there.
Yeah.
So this guy's like a retired marketer. Basically, that's his background. He was like a factory worker. Then he worked for marketing, like selling copy. I mean, I almost want to retract some of the statements that I made on the self-help stream, where I think that like being learning about marketing is like a path to the red pill. And I mean, for this guy, it's like 50% true. Uh, his views are really peculiar, but it's very colored by this kind of individualism, this idea that oh, we're being manipulated by the system. Look at all these tricks that they're using to cow us into drinking Pepsi or doing all this other weird stuff. So, but he is a sort of prolific media guy. Like in the picture there on the right, he's holding the book about like the warned energy shock. You have his books underneath there. That's like the climate anti-climax. Let's see here. We got the Moshu resemblance. Uh,
It came out of me.
yeah, it's
Me
low
saying
effort, but
that
it's
his physiognomy tells me that whatever this guy is selling, regardless of how good it may sound, I'm not gonna trust him. um,
counter
that's
jihad,
pretty much it.
Islamofascism. I've got it all here, friends.
Yeah.
But you need coin, and that's the. I mean, the stuff that he writes, it's like the climate anticlimax. He's like this climate skeptic. That's in a lot of his writings, and he doesn't come from a place of being like this, climate scientist or any kind of PhD expert. He talks more about the phenomena of like the media, how the media is using the climate stuff more dishonestly, and you know, a lot of it has to do with just selling himself as like this kind of comedic personality to a certain specific audience that likes this kind of stuff. Where it is more of this disenfranchised, bitter Norwegian working class person who thinks it's really funny to make fun of the
Usually
people at the
a bit
top,
older
basically.
as well. Like
Yes.
if you imagine like a slightly older engineer guy who's like, because of his like worldview in terms of engineering, he's obviously on the sort of like right in terms of the counter jihad, right? And this is who he's marketing to, you know.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's not a young, spry, vital base, but he has a lot of people watching, surprisingly, and some of the stuff that he releases, I mean, the quality that he's been able to achieve in the production is surprisingly good. I mean, he works at Document.no, which we've discussed previously on the media stream. That's like one of the Norwegian sort of far right publications, where they're both kind of like a news site and a publishing house. And like, I mean, he's been a politician in the Progress Party, and then like the last 2 years, he was a politician in the Norwegian Democrats, and now he has like no party or
Yeah.
no clear party affiliation because
Just
he just resigned his post.
to shill our own work for a bit here, if you're hearing these names for parties, etc., and you're not quite sure what they mean, our very first episode of the Longhouse gives you a map of the sort of the Norwegian layout of where these parties are. But the basic gist is, yeah, he went from the most right party to the furthest right party.
That's it. So
But
we
that's
went from
not saying much.
the right wing inside the Overton window to the right wing outside of the Overton window.
Yes, yes.
But this happened after like the party was disbanded. I mean, he was a part of the Oslo Progress Party, and that was disbanded because of internal conflict. So he moved on to the Norwegian Democrats, and then that's where it just ended up with this kind of coup or this internal drama situation. So, well, this guy's kind of what's this guy's deal? He likes, he doesn't like the UN. He doesn't like the EU. He's skeptical of climate and counter jihad. I think that's kind of his greatest hits as far as that goes. But he doesn't want to touch on, hardcore nationalism. He doesn't want to touch on race realism. He doesn't want to touch on the JQ. He doesn't want to talk about
Is
Israel.
this
His
the
religious, yeah.
or is this the other guy? Which one of the guys were the I'm not a nationalist, I'm an anti-globalist? No, that was the
That's
other guy.
well, this guy's like in the same camp, basically.
Yeah, he is.
I've heard of the interviews with him, and he's very iffy about, like, he's asked, like, "Well, are you a nationalist?" And he's very iffy about the answers. He doesn't give a clear answers. He talks more about
I do
anti-globalism.
understand, I suppose like the optics trick of it. It just sounds so stupid. I mean,
It
if you look
does.
at it through we talked about the lens of we're living in anti-fascism, then it makes sense to never call yourself a nationalist. But in terms of like the actual definition of the word, if you're anti-globalist, you have to be nationalist. I don't see anything, what is the alternative?
Yes. What does it mean to be anti-globalist and not nationalist?
Yeah.
So, and he's atheist as well. Like, not just atheist, the most anti-theist. I would describe him as in his political views. So
Yeah,
I would
very
almost
much
call
so.
this like
If you watch his
liberal
interviews
fundamentalism
with
or
Lou
something.
Ross, we mentioned he's a fundamentalist liberal. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
I can't. I don't have any word. I used to call it macho liberalism, but like with this guy's like liberal fundamentalism, I can't. It sounds like an oxymoron, but when you're just like so, I mean, if you call for like secularizing state and saying that religion should be illegal inside politics and stuff like that, like only individuals can have religion, like you can't organize in groups with religious ideologies. Basically, I mean, this is like Ataturk levels. This is
Yeah.
forcing people to be liberal, and that's kind of like his views on things. And it's a diminishing view. It's like these people get thrown out of within the Overton window. They get thrown out by the woke mob as being right-wing extremists, and then they try their hand in one of these kind of more right-wing spaces, and they get thrown out for being too far to the left. So it's kind of like a losing strategy. They just have no place on the board to where they can fit into.
Yeah.
So I mean, we could just keep running through the slides here and looking at some of these other things.
Do we have to look at him singing?
I mean, what I don't know what the chat wants. Like I said, he's quite prolific. Let's look at the singing stuff. We could because and I mean, he has like a part of that song that he made for the Democrats. There's he sings about anti-whiteness in it.
Knowing chat brain, everybody's gonna like love the red meat of this guy singing. So
yes, let's do it. I mean, you could get to. I mean, the last verse he sings about like I said, like He has like this anti-white stuff reference, which is quite interesting. So it's like it's really hard to tell with this guy if he's like secretly extremely like high power levels. But let's show the audience.
Maybe we'll be able to get an interview with him if we play enough of this clip to get into
okay,
a legal
we'll be
battle
polite
with him.
here. I'm going to try to be super polite to him. I said I don't know.
If we play enough of this song, he'll like come at us legally, and then we'll be able to talk to him.
But yeah.
All right. Hopefully you guys have sound. Let me know. I will say that this is all going to be in Norwegian, so I mean, I'm sorry for any international listeners. Just skip ahead a couple of minutes if you're not interested.
Et bitte lite folk I et ganske langt land har noen ledere som har startet en brann. Vardene tennes langs kysten.
What is the... I'm sorry. What is the imagery here? Why sitting like by the side of the road here?
I don't know. It's just that this does not appeal to young people. You can see that this is clearly something that if you go back to the shot where there's like a lot of people in the photo. There's nobody under 60 there. So there's no young people who's going to look at this and think it's cool, basically.
Yeah, this is like boomer mailing list stuff.
Vindmøller maner til lyst. Men hvem skal ta skylda, se ingen har lyst. Et kontinent av frie land ble fanget av en klikk. Grenser ble revet, og Kina fikk fabrikk. Et nytt flagg ble flagget så gilt. Ode til gleden ble spilt. Om selvråderett og Grundlov ble det stilt. Det vi ble lovet var ikke det vi fikk. Globalister garanterer, men det holder ikke stikk. De lovet gull og grønne skoger. De lovet mangfold og skarpe.
I don't know, maybe that's the thing. Like, he's sitting in the bike lane. Maybe he's like making a statement with it.
Yeah, fuck those people, basically. I think he probably hates
I don't know,
bikes as
maybe
well.
it is. Yeah, which is, you know, that's kind of a weird thing to have a strong opinion on, I guess. But I think there's a lot of overlap with his audience.
In that group, yeah. I mean, I'm listening to it now. I'm actually kind of positively surprised that some of these lyrics, they're surprisingly well thought out and like references stuff that
Well, sure, but again, it's
actually
like
happens.
he can tell me whatever I want. I'm still not going to trust this. You know?
I mean, it's just cringy. It's just a little too cringy, you know. It's doesn't appeal to my generation.
No. Do we want to keep going?
I mean, if you can get like 2/3, move the
sure.
marker 2/3, and you can get the verse about where he sings about the white man. Let's see.
I see.
So it's after 2 choruses. That's like the last. Here, you can see the. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Here we go.
Yep.
De andre får alt, og du får regningen så rød. Og nå skal omvendt rasisme råde. Hvite mann, han skal få det. Og pressen taus.
Spicy.
Her skal vises ingen nåde. Men det vi ble lovet, var ikke det vi fikk. Det eliten garanterte, holder aldri stikk. De lovet fellesskap og et grønn Shangri-La.
I think we're good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's certainly a thing. Hang on. And like this is a bit too close for me.
This is like 90s television, right? The wide angle lens and just smash the face up into the camera.
Yeah.
But I mean, the older you get, you just don't want to do this. You can see every wrinkle with the 1080,
especially now with the high quality of modern cameras.
you just don't want that. That's one thing that I don't like about all these high definition cameras. That you see these old people, you can see every wrinkle in their face.
Yeah.
It's not necessary. But you know, he's also. I mean, he's making the songs. He's really doing the books, and he does like this. You can summon Studium. That's like this weekly show. What do you call this? Like the Young Turks for people on the right wing, or
that's
like
what I said. Like he's giving me like right wing Cenk Uygur vibes.
You want to show a bit from that show? Because they have they have a channel on Odyssey with that. It's sent through document.no, and I think most of his viewers watch it on Facebook. That's like the platform where he's the most active.
I'll open the Facebook page here.
It would, of course, fit with his kind of demographic.
What is the gist of the song? That's a very nice Murdoch
I like it.
avatar, by the way.
Globalism bad. It's
globalism bad. That's the song. Like he meanders through like a bunch of stuff. It's he like talks about like energy and climate change and like windmills and green energy, and then he goes talking about like cultural stuff, and then it's like race stuff, and so he hits on like all the big talking points basically. And he's saying that, the globalists promised us all of this good stuff, but now we're fucked. That's the gist of the song. Let me see here. Sorry, what? Is there any point you want me to...
I don't know if we're not getting sound on this one. There you go.
Oh, there it is. Oh, Jesus. That's very loud.
Tredje sesong av nyhetskavalkaden som eliten elsker å hate.
De elsker å hate oss. Hei alle sammen, og god søndag. Takk for at dere med oss i kveld. Grunnen til at de hater oss, det jo at vi ikke bare erter jålte elitepolitikere. Og her snakker vi mobber ikke, vi erter.
They're talking about how much like the elites hate them, but I mean, if you're imagine yourself as one of the elites, do you even know this guy exists?
No, I think
Right.
he's able to do all the stuff because he just flies under the radar. I do not
Yeah.
think anybody with like a master's degree knows that this guy exists
Or
in
like
Norway.
care,
basically.
like I mean,
They don't give a
like
fuck.
he's not posing a real threat to anyone.
No, he
Who's
isn't.
this?
But I mean, the
who's
woman
this
is quite
woman?
attractive. I mean,
Yeah,
you want a right wing girlfriend, you could hit her up. I don't remember. I think the name is
Rebecca something. It seems
somewhere there. But I mean, this
but
show
yeah,
is like
guys, I
surprisingly.
mean, hit her up, see if she's
Yes.
available. Maybe you can turn her over to the dissident side.
I think she's like secretly super red pilled. But you see, like the show, they steal a little bit from Louder with Crowder. I think that he's the one who has like these kind
Yeah,
of like shot
probably.
lights in the background. And they
But he's got
do a
his
lot
own
more of
Anna
this.
Kasparian here, so
Yes,
my Cenk Uyghur analysis is getting more and more correct.
thinking the shape of his body is at least similar to
Yeah, that
to
help. He
Uyghur
has
and,
he has the sort of
the
rhinoceros
tan as well. Yeah.
yeah.
Buffalo, I guess it's the
Buffalo, yeah. I think I don't know. I haven't done an early life check on this guy, but wouldn't you assume that there's some Sami stuff in this guy?
I don't
That's
know
where it comes
exactly.
from?
There's some sort of like Spaniard
Is
thing
that
he
it?
has.
Okay. Let me see if I can find a. I'm gonna do an early life check on this guy.
Fingers crossed. I mean, if he is like one of the chosen ones, he's not doing a very good job, honestly.
It does not
bit
say who his
disappointing.
parents were. It just says where he grew up. That is very vague.
But I mean, if you look from
Yeah,
the
I'm
beginning there,
sorry.
you can see some of the graphics and the stuff that they use because they put a lot of effort into editing this stuff, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you just like watch a little bit, you can see that they include
Just
a
let
lot
it
of
play.
these.
Dette forandrer seg hele tiden.
It's so loud.
Og kjære seere
Her
der
kommer
hjemme,
et kurs.
dette er et lynkurs. Alle nyheter som avslører at eliten er noen grådige klodrianer bare ute etter egen vinning, det er fake.
On second thought, don't hit her up unless you have like a thing for being like degraded. I guess.
I changed my mind.
With that voice, God, imagine.
Ja. Og alt som NRK sier, er den absolutte fulle sannheten med korspalsen og 10 fingre i nesa. Og nå og for evig. Og ikke motsi meg, ok? Fordi da er du fascistisk.
Da er du veldig fascistisk. Inspirasjon, så er
Skattepenger.
det er veldig den
Det faktisk
I can't find any more, but they had like graphics in the beginning. Oh, here we go. They've edited like politicians on the carousel.
Hallo!
Oh God, okay.
I mean, there
Well,
are small
we get the
clips
gist.
throughout for those who want to watch, but you see that they spent a lot of time editing.
There's a lot of time and work
zooming
here,
in
yeah.
and,
Oh,
so
look at this. She has a cup that it says the boss, and he has a cup that it says the slave.
I didn't notice that actually. That's
The
interesting.
lore is expanding, boys. We're gonna need some investigators on this.
This has, I mean, a surprising amount of viewers if you consider that it's a Norwegian show.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's got more viewers than we have, and like we have an international pool to draw from. But this guy is like,
Yeah, we do.
I can't, I can't like throw too much shade on him for that because I think
No,
he's
no,
sort of
I
successful
mean,
at
it's,
what he's done as a
yeah.
kind of media guy, trying to find this audience for this exact thing, and the effort is put in there. Like, I mean, the knowledge, the effort, it's all put in there. I mean, it's not for me.
Yes.
I guess I'm just like not at this sort of. You can't really appeal to me with this sort of thing where the elites are really stupid and greedy and bad, but so we make fun of the elites, but they still rule over you. Thing. I mean, it's too much cope for me. Honestly, I can't.
Yeah, it feels
I
like
don't
it's
wanna
more
watch
of an
it.
entertainment product than it's anything else, you know.
Yeah, certainly, and like 1 hour is way too long for that kind of a show. If you're gonna do like the snappy sketch stuff, you gotta shorten it down a little bit or
Mm-hmm.
do it in segments.
And
Righto.
then there's also clips of him reading from his book, and he has done interviews with Luros, who we mentioned earlier in the stream.
Yep.
Who's now been booted from Reset.
It's too
but
bad.
Those are like long form interviews and like 2-hour reading, so I think you like that.
It's of course not necessary, but one of these book readings. I mean, I'm not the audience for the show, and I'm not the audience for the book. And there's something that you notice: the boomer truth is very strong with this guy, just very, very strong. So he, I mean, he talks about, he has a book about climate change and how he thinks it's a hoax. And he reads from the chapter, and like from the one chapter he read, he mentions like the mid-century Germans and the Jays, how the oppression of the Jays, like 4 times,
Right.
in a chapter about the climate. And he throws shit at basically evangelicals and people who are creationists. And
Why does he have
okay,
to talk about that
like
in a
I
chapter
see
about
that,
climate
like,
change? I
well,
wonder.
he doesn't have to. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Is like I
that's-
imagine like a lot of the audience for the kind of stuff that he does would be in this kind of more like hardcore evangelical base. So I don't understand why he has to go out of his way to throw shit at those people, even if he disagrees with them, and to try to appeal to this kind of center boomer stuff. Like, I guess that's the thing. He's trying to appeal to a center that no longer exists. It
Yeah, I
hasn't existed
guess.
for like 30 years, but he's still in this kind of lagging a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the next slide there, I think we've covered most of the stuff
this one.
about like the views that he has. But
Those of you
the
early
meme that I made
birds
there
might have seen this one in the warm-up minutes. It was one of
it
the
sums
memes in
up
the slides.
pretty much, what Harry says. I'm a climate skeptic, counter-jihadist, populist, fiscal conservative, and I'm against globalism. Oh, so you're a right winger? And then it's like, yeah, no. Because this is something that comes back in that video that he did where he talks about why he left the Norway Democrats. And he said that I won't work with, crazy people. I don't want to work with right-wing extremists, basically. And he
Yeah.
repeats that over and over again. It's like, but my brother in Christ, like, you are right-wing extremists. Like, all of these positions are super right-wing. This, like,
Yeah.
anti-globalism. If you want to go out of the UN and you want to go out of the EU,
Yeah.
it's not a centrist position.
No,
this
it's
is not. You're not going to get like the center left over
The
to your
only
side
ones
there.
who like legitimately are allowed to hold an anti-EU thing in the Norwegian political sphere is the communists,
Yes,
the Reds.
and I mean, you're not going to get them over to your side. Like, they have
Right.
like actual capital. They have like
So
intellectual capital.
if you're thinking that and all of these other right-wing things, then you are extremist. I'm sorry, by the definition of everyone else.
So it's just like in his own head where he thinks that he's like kind of the sane center,
he's
contrarian centrist.
He's still the sane center man. Everyone else has just gone crazy.
Yes, 40 years ago.
Yeah,
I haven't
40
changed my
years ago.
positions in 40 years.
Yeah.
The left me, guys. He's the good liberal. Oh boy.